Welcome to the Lifestyles Unlimited Real Estate Investor Radio Show, a real estate investment program. Listen and learn how to use real estate to build wealth and passive income streams for you and your family. We bring you experts every day to discuss and answer your questions on everything from single-family homes all the way up to 600-plus unit apartment complexes. And now, the Lifestyles Unlimited Real Estate Investor Radio Show.
I want to thank all of you for joining me this morning on the Lifestyles Unlimited Real Estate Investor Radio Show. My name's Mike Harrison. Got a fun show dialed up this morning. I hope you can stick with me for the entirety. There'll be something in it for everyone. I've got milestones in real estate investing, essentially wealth milestones. I even have a bit of ancient history regarding leverage and reputation toward the end. And I'll even mix in a bit of goal setting regarding those wealth milestones. So milestones of wealth progression. And this is all within real estate investing. This is the Real Estate Investor Radio Show. But this show essentially developed for me based on a show I heard Del Walmsley do at least 5 years ago. It had to be 2017. And it stuck with me. It changed me. It's been there in my mind for at least 5 years. I'm crazy like that. It was well before I did this show or even thought about doing this show. I couldn't have imagined it back then. It's insane how our life can change rapidly in a short amount of time. Well, maybe not so insane. I think everybody in this country just saw it in 1 year, that how life can change. But it can change rapidly in real estate investing, much more rapid than most of you believe. And that's because the majority of people are trapped in a conventional world where they're told the only way to save $1 million or $2 million or to retire is to feed a 401k or an IRA for 30 or 40 years. That's what they've been told their whole time. So when they look at real estate and we say, no, you can grow your wealth rapidly in a short amount of time, it's so counterintuitive to a lot of people. But I was listening to this show about 5 years ago. I remember it vividly. I was driving to go see a client. I was on a back road, and I was outside of Prosper somewhere. And this show, as I'm listening to Del, it changed me. It struck me like a bolt of lightning. And at the time, I had 11 single-family homes, and I was producing quite a bit of passive income on those homes. All of these houses were paying well over $400 a month in cash flow. At least 6 of them were over $500 a month. It was a nice little portfolio, and it was producing. Well, I was traveling to meet this client, listening to the show, and I don't even know if it was the Del Walmsley radio show. I don't even think Del had his own show then. And for those of you listening, Del Walmsley does the Del Walmsley radio show, but there's also the Lifestyles Unlimited Real Estate Investor Radio Show, which I do, and 3 other hosts also do. I don't remember what the show was. I remember the content, again, vividly. It changed me. It struck me like a bolt of lightning because I realized that I would need to change what I was doing if I wanted to essentially take it up a notch. But Del was talking about wealth milestones, and he'd list it and then he'd talk about it. And I'm going to do this show as best I can from memory. I know this show is archived somewhere on our website, but I didn't go look for it. Maybe I will in my free time. But as Del's going through these milestones, he talked about milestone number 1, and I said to myself, wow, I'm there. I've achieved milestone number 1. I've already done that. I had never realized it. It was just another step in what I thought was my path to investing. But if Del's listing these wealth milestones that are pretty incredible, and I'm going to go through them here on the show, they're amazing. But I started realizing, well, heck, if I hit milestone 1, what's stopping me from hitting milestone 2 from the second milestone? And the answer was not a darn thing, except the fact that I would need to take action. I would need to put the pieces into place to achieve that second step. I would need to change. Essentially, I was going to need to redo things, possibly take 2 steps backwards so that I could take 10 steps forward. But there Dell is. He's talking on the air, and I'm getting closer to my destination. And you know what I did? I pulled over on the side of that road, and I listened to the remainder of his show in its entirety. That's how much that show hit me. It was time for me to stop and listen and realize that I needed to change. So when I started writing the notes for this show, again, I'm doing it from memory. I came up with 7 milestones, so I may have added 1 or 2 that are different than Dell's little change, but this is my show. I'm going to do it my way. I'm not trying to copy Dell. But I got to 7 milestones. We have members that are far beyond these 7, and when you hear it, stick with me for the show. It is incredible. When you hear it, keep in mind, we have investors that have gone beyond step 7, and these are folks that came to Lifestyles Unlimited, and they didn't know anything about real estate. They just knew they needed to change, that they weren't going to retire on their terms in the conventional world, so they came to Lifestyles Unlimited. Dell taught them how to invest in real estate. They followed that plan, and 10 to 15 years later, these people have achieved ultimate wealth. They've created ultimate wealth. They've made wealth for their passive investors. They have achieved what they probably thought was unachievable before they found Lifestyles Unlimited. So what is milestone 1? What was that milestone that I hit? Well, my friends, that was own $1 million in real estate. Now, total ownership with leverage, right? This is Dallas-Fort Worth. If you had 8 houses worth an average value of $150,000, that's $1.2 million. You've achieved it. Not worried about the leverage, just owning that. And that was getting started. We'll be right back to continue these milestones. My name's Mike Harrison. This is the Lifestyles Unlimited Real Estate Investor Radio Show.
Warning. Listening to the Lifestyles Unlimited Real Estate Investor Radio Show will change your life. We will teach you how to create wealth and passive income so you can be financially free. And now, back to your host.
My name's Mike Harrison. Welcome back to the show. I appreciate you listening this morning. I really appreciate emails from our listeners. Can't tell you how much I enjoy those. Keep sending them. If you have any real estate questions, comments, concerns, discussions, I'm here. My email address is askmike@luinc.com. Askmike@luinc.com. You don't have to be a member of Lifestyles Unlimited to email me. Just reach out. This show's for everybody. So we're talking about milestones of wealth progression this morning, and it came to me. I was inspired to do this show based on another show that Dale Walmsley himself did several years ago. And I'm trying to think exactly when, but I want to say it was spring or summer 2017. Probably summer 2017, maybe fall. I don't know. I remember it was a sunny day. Show was so good. Spurred me to action, made me change what I was doing, even though I was successful, I thought, in doing what I was doing. I had 11 houses that were producing great income at the time. But it was time to change. It was time to break that down and change gears and move to multifamily. Now, why did I want to do that? Because I wanted to achieve these wealth milestones that Dell was discussing. And I needed to change if I was going to go forward and continue on my real estate investment path. It would have been really easy just to keep doing what I was doing and sitting tight and And that was fine. And if you're that person, that's fine. This is a personal decision, but it was a change that I wanted to make. And that first milestone was actually owning $1 million in real estate. Yes, I had leverage on all the real estate, but combined, the value of those homes was greater than $1 million. So I had achieved Dell's first milestone. Now, depending on where you are in different parts of the country, you might be able to do that let's say you're in Phoenix, Arizona. You might be able to do that with 3 to 5 houses. Houses are much more expensive there. They may be $200,000, $250,000, $300,000. So if you have 5 houses, Aggie math, 5 times 3, that's $1.5 million in real estate. Yes, you have a mortgage on all of that, and so you may only have $300 in the deal, $200 in the deal. I'm not sure what your out-of-pocket was, but if you include equity capture, appreciation, the growth of value of those homes, owning $1 million, congratulations, you have achieved milestone number 1. And I'm going to tell you something. If you continue this plan, milestone number 1 is the hardest one to achieve. Why is it hard? Because it means you got started. And just getting started is the most difficult process for so many people. The realization, the acceptance that you need to make a change from the status quo world, from the conventional wisdom plan. The realization that you can't save your way to wealth, that you need to invest your way to wealth. And as soon as you realize that, then you'll begin investing in real estate. And before you know it, boom, milestone 1. I did it within 3 years. So if milestone 1 is to own $1 million or more in real estate, milestone number 2 is to have $1 million or more invested in real estate of your money. Milestone 1, you control the real estate, you have leverage. Milestone 2, you definitely still have leverage if you're following our plan, but all in, you have over $1 million of your money in various deals. What does this look like? Well, it could be 10 paid-for homes, and I don't recommend that. But if you've got 10 houses, there are average value of, again, $150,000. This is Dallas-Fort Worth. Then those 10 houses, that's $1.5 million. You definitely have over $1 million of your money invested in real estate. It could be 20 to 25 houses with leverage. It might be 10 houses and 10 passive apartment deals. There's several ways. It looks like a lot of different things. You might be an independent rental owner. You yourself own a small apartment complex. It'd be easy to have over $1 million of equity in a small apartment complex. Very easy. But again, there's some points I want you to consider and understand before we go any further. These are milestones of wealth creation. Some of you out there right now are going, Harrison, you're crazy. I'll never get there. I'll tell you, no matter where you start from, these milestones are totally obtainable in a short amount of time. If you stick with it, if you persevere, if you stay focused. This is essentially another way to describe my cash flow snowball. That one was a little deeper. It had math involved. That was my April 18th show. If you missed it, you want to go back and find it on the Lifestyles Unlimited website. Type in radio, scroll all the way down to the bottom, type in Mike Harrison or type in cash flow snowball, and that show will pop up. But that cash flow snowball, if you follow that plan, will get you to milestone 1 and well on your way to milestone 2. Now, if you believe these are unobtainable, I assure you they will remain unobtainable. It's a mindset, my friends. It takes more effort to get started than it does to keep moving. That's why milestone number 1 is the hardest. What is milestone number 3? Make $1 million in one deal. This is most often accomplished in apartment deals, quite often. You buy a small apartment community for $4 million. Now, you don't have $4 million in the deal, but you've got your down, you've got your closing cost. Install superior management. Make it a desirable community to live in. Fix everything. Make it better than it was before. Put great residents to live in there. Before you know it, that $4 million property that you purchased, that dilapidated property for $4 million, well, once you clean it up, fix it, make it a nice place to live, not hard to get to $6 or $7 million. You can pull that money out via refinance or sell. Pocket the additional, boom. You made over $1 million in one deal. Now, I didn't say make $1 million in 1 year. We're going to get there. I said one deal. It might take you 18 months, 2 years, 3 years. I don't know. But you made $1 million in a deal. Check that box. Milestone number 3. Can this be done with houses? Absolutely. I've seen folks with large portfolios of homes sell 20 at a time, 30 at a time, 10 at a time. I sold 4 houses to one person in one deal in 10 days. It happens, my friends. When you're in this community and you network with like-minded individuals, it's powerful. So I hope you're seeing a pattern here. But again, understand, you got to get started. Milestone number 4. If you're making $1 million in one deal, then milestone number 4 is to actually own $10 million worth of real estate, to own it, to control it. You have leverage in it. So it's a natural progression. I'm just adding a 0 to a couple of these. So what does that look like? Well, you probably have $2 to $3, maybe $4 million working for you, but with leverage, you own $10 million in real estate. It's a natural progression. Natural progression. And these steps get easier as we go through them. This is Milestones of Wealth Progression. My name is Mike Harrison. We'll continue this discussion. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to the Lifestyles Unlimited Real Estate Investor Radio Show. It's time to turn up the volume and fine-tune your passive income plan so you can create the lifestyle you've always wanted.
Welcome back to the show. Thanks for tuning in. My name is Mike Harrison. This is the Lifestyles Unlimited Real Estate Investor Radio Show. And as always, we're working on your financial freedom. Speaking of financial freedom, I'm talking about wealth milestones that occur as you invest in real estate, as your portfolio grows, as you continue to reinvest those funds. It gets bigger and bigger. It's a cash flow snowball. Milestone 1, $1 million in real estate owned. It's the hardest one to achieve because it means you actually need to get started, need to accept that the conventional wisdom world is broken. You can't save your way to retirement. You need to invest your way to retirement. You need to invest your way to financial freedom. Milestone number 2. That's $1 million invested. You've got equity of at least $1 million. Some of it's your money, maybe some of it's equity capture. But if you have $1 million of your dollars deployed into real estate investments, you have achieved milestone 2. Milestone 3. Make $1 million in one deal. Might take you 3 years in that one deal, but you made $1 million in one deal. You achieved it. Check that box. Milestone 4. We're just duplicating what we did earlier, except we're doing it at a level times 10. Milestone number 4, $10 million in real estate owned. What does that mean? We bring a lender to every deal. The bank, they're our biggest partner. So you may have $2 or $3 million, $4 million in equity, controlling $10 million or greater in real estate. That's milestone number 4. But if you can achieve these other milestones, don't you see how you can continue the process and achieve this milestone? Now, where did the idea to do this show, these milestones, come from? Well, it's a show I listened to that Del Walmsley did at least 5 years ago, somewhere in that time frame. When I was just investing in houses, it was before I even had an idea that I would be doing this show one day, which I'm so thankful for. It's so much fun, and I appreciate our listeners greatly. it struck me so much. I actually pulled over and listened to the remainder of the show, but I knew that I would have to tear down what I had, and I had great cash flow. Tremendous. That, along with my corporate job, times were good. But I knew I needed to transition out of houses into multifamily. I knew that the first year and a half, my cash flow would go significantly down. The cash-on-cash returns, these houses that I had acquired over 3 years, was fantastic. Actually, 3 to 5 years that time, yeah, because I started in 2013. But the cash flow is fantastic. But I knew that when I would deploy it into an apartment community as a passive investor, it takes a little time for those investments to season, so to speak, right, to come online, because the lead investor is fixing everything, getting rid of the bad residents, making it a nice, desirable community to be a part of and to live in. And as they fix everything, they raise the rents. And people want to pay the extra. They want to live in a nice place. Best product, best price. But that takes some time. And I knew it would. But in your mind, the battle that you're fighting is, well, things are great. Why don't I just keep doing what I'm doing? Well, I knew if I wanted to start achieving these milestones, I had to change. And so I was stuck in that one spot. And again, I want to say it takes more effort to get started than to keep moving. Now, I was already started in real estate, but I wasn't started in passive investing in apartment communities. I needed to go to that next level. I needed to educate myself. I needed to become familiar with how to do that. And I did. And it's enabled me to grow financially, mentally, my inner self. So what is milestone number 5? If milestone number 4 is 10 million in real estate owned, milestone number 5, average 1 million per year in earnings due to real estate investment. Now, don't you think people that have made $1 million in one deal in real estate, if they were to duplicate that and add more deals, don't you think it would be pretty simple for them to start earning $1 million a year on a regular basis? And I know some of you out there, you're going, this is crazy. There's no way. If I started today, it would take me forever to earn $1 million a year. No, it wouldn't. No, it wouldn't. We have people that have come to us from all different directions, different careers in life. Some had quite a bit of money, some not so much. But you just get educated. You follow the plan. You stick with it. You persevere. And real estate will compound itself. The wealth grows. The passive income grows rapidly. Money will come at you from all sorts of different directions. Cash flow. Refinance. And then you take the refinance and you put it into more real estate. Property sales. You get out of one property, 1031, into another property. Or if you're a member or a passive investor in a real estate community and that property sells, well, you take that income and you put it into more deals. Don't eat your seed corn. John Pry, if you're listening to me, I love that. But what does that mean? You take your earnings and you continue to reinvest it. The cash flow is yours, but the refinance and all that and the sales, that goes into more deals. You earn it through appreciation. You earn it through mortgage pay down. You earn it by tax benefits. I had David Fisher on this show about a year ago, and I remember vividly, he was talking about a few years back, he had earned over $2 million that year in real estate investing. And David Fisher is a guy that started, I think, 12, maybe 15 years ago. Maybe not even that long. But he earned over $2 million that year. And speaking of tax benefits, I remember David vividly. He said, Harrison, when it came time to pay my taxes, the U.S. government said, great job, Dave. Here's a $28,000 refund. Isn't that incredible? What's not to like about that? What is not to like about that? Milestone number 6. $10 million in real estate invested, right? You have 10 million. Sure, you have leverage, so you're controlling much greater than 10 million, probably to the tune of at least 5 times that. Do we have people that have obtained it? Some of you are listening to me out there going, that's crazy. That's ultra wealthy. That's top 1%. Yes, it is. I know people that are there, my friends. I know people that are there just like you, and they started. Now, when I put this together, honestly, I don't know if milestone 5 comes first or milestone 6. In milestone 5, if you remember back, that was averaging $1 million a year in earnings, and milestone 6 is $10 million in real estate investing. So those two may be interchangeable, but I'll tell you this, I'll promise you, when I hit those 2 milestones, I'll answer that question for you. If you're listening to this show and you've hit these milestones, shoot me an email, askmike@luinc.com, and let me know if earning $1 million a year on average comes first or the $10 million in real estate investing comes first. So those two may be interchangeable, but essentially your total ownership equity within real estate investing is $10 million or more. Just like milestone 2, but we grew by a factor of 10. My name is Mike Harrison. This is the Lifestyles Unlimited Real Estate Investor Radio Show. We'll be right back to discuss milestones of wealth creation.
We're back with the Lifestyles Unlimited Real Estate Investor Radio Show. We're here to answer your questions and help you become financially free.
Welcome back to the show. My name's Mike Harrison. We're talking about milestones of wealth progression that are achieved within real estate investing. And I was inspired to do this show based on content that Del Walmsley himself provided to me over the air on his show 4 or 5 years ago. I think it was 5. I really don't know. And I need to look the show up sometime. I'm sure it's archived in there. But it hit me, and it hit me so hard that I knew I needed to change what I was doing if I was going to progress and grow as a real estate investor. And it was the encouragement to me to move on from single-family houses and start investing in apartment communities. And it's a series of milestones based on growing wealth. And the steps get easier, not more difficult. And I know a lot of you out there, that's so counterintuitive to you. And you know why it's counterintuitive? It would have been counterintuitive to me 10 years ago if I heard it. Darn right. But when I heard it 5 years ago, I knew it would work because I was already doing it. But it's counterintuitive to you because you're stuck in a system that says the only way you can make $1 million or $2 million, and you're not even making it, you have to save it for 35 or 40 years, feeding a 401k and feeding an IRA you've been told your whole life. That's the only way to get ahead. That's the only way to achieve freedom. And that's why it sounds counterintuitive to you. And I'm telling you, that's not the only way to get ahead. The secret sauce is called passive income, real estate investing. Put your dollars to work in your sleep. Quit trading time for money. Now, if you're listening to this show on a podcast and it's 3 weeks from now, 1 month from now, 3 years from now, it doesn't matter. This information, whether it's mine or Andy Webb or Al Gordon or Del Walmsley himself, it doesn't get old. And if you have a question for me and you're listening to me in the future, send me an email, askmike@luinc.com. askmike@luinc.com. Now, I want to take a quick moment and remind everyone about our expo. It's Friday and Saturday, September 3rd and 4th, Labor Day weekend. If you're interested in what we do, or if you're a real estate investor, you're going to want to attend this expo. And this year it's in Irving. Historically, it's always in Houston. So for you Dallas-Fort Worth folks, Maybe it gives you an opportunity to attend that you couldn't attend in the past. But it's the largest event of its kind. There'll be over 5,000 attendees, investors there, like-minded people, lead investors. The Lifestyles Unlimited team will be there. Our vendors will be there. I can save you $97 off your pass right now. If you go to wealthandpassiveincomeexpo.com, all the information's there. Whichever pass or package you choose, there's a promo code. If you enter MIKE, Mike, in all capital letters, it'll save you $97. That's wealthandpassiveincomeexpo.com. Now, Milestone 6, that was $10 million invested in real estate. Again, with leverage, you're probably controlling $40 or $50 million. Sounds like a lot. My friends, our lead investors, some of those guys have 5, 10, 15, 20, 30 apartment communities. Many of those 5, 10, 15, $20 million in value or greater. Not hard for them to achieve. The biggest thing they did was they got started. When I owned one home, I thought that 10 homes was this incredible mecca of achievement. That was my goal, 10 homes. 3 years later, I had 11 homes. When I owned 11 homes, I thought being a passive investor in one apartment community was pie-in-the-sky daydream material. 5 years from listening to that show and making a change, I'm in 12 deals. Are you picking up what I'm putting down? It gets easier. The goal was 10 deals at first. Now I'm looking at doing 20. Because once you hit 10, 20 is just around the corner. Before I get to Milestone 7, I promised you some ancient history at the beginning of the show. Talking about getting started, setting goals. Let's talk about Alexander the Great for a moment. And yes, I'll tie this into real estate. But if any of you that knows me personally, you know I love ancient military history. There's a lot to learn there. Lessons paid in blood. Sadly, a lot of lessons many in our great nation seem to have forgotten. And I'm saying that here on the anniversary of D-Day. When Alexander the Great assembled his generals and said, we're going to conquer Greece. Hey, guys, we're going to conquer Greece. How do you think the generals responded? I wasn't there, but I'm sure they looked at him and said, Alexander, your dad was the greatest general Macedonia ever had. I don't know that you can even carry his water. Let me ask you this, my friends. Do you even remember who Alexander the Great's dad was? You have to look it up. It's Philip II of Macedonia. But I'm pretty sure there was some doubt among those generals looking at Alexander. But Alexander presented the plan, told them to ready the troops, get educated, get on board. This is how we're going to do it. And Alexander went forth and he conquered Thebes, he conquered Athens, essentially all of Greece that mattered at the time. Do you know what the toughest part was? Getting started. You know what the beauty was? He was educated. His father had mentored him his whole life. He had a team. He had a strategy. He knew his strategy was better than what other folks were doing. He was prepared. He succeeded. But in his mind, he knew he would succeed. Now, was Alexander the kind of guy that laid back and let someone else manage the battles? No. He was the hammer. The troops were the anvil. He would actually lead the attack from the flank or the rear himself with his men. Right there, in the thick of it. He always led that decisive strike that spelled doom for the enemy. So how's this like real estate? So I compare Alexander to some of our lead investors that buy apartment communities. These folks are some of the brightest people I've ever met in my life. They're educated. They understand the terrain, so to speak. What's the terrain? That's the market. They see the weakness in the prior owners. They can walk a property and they know what's wrong, what needs to be corrected, what needs to be fixed. So essentially they know where to strike and win. Now, the generals, who are those guys? Those are the lenders. Those are the banks. Those are the guys that had to buy into the plan. Alexander needed them on his side to be successful. We need the lenders to be on our side to be successful. The soldiers, who are they? Well, they're our real estate team that we assemble. Truly some of the best in their specific industries. Those are the vendors of Lifestyles Unlimited. They're the soldiers. These are people that cater to real estate investors. Their whole line of business, their whole scope of business is not necessarily for the general public. It's fine-tuned to folks like us. They're the best at what they do. Some of them have been with us a long time. When I talk to my GC to rehab a house, I may be doing 3 or 5 houses in 1 year. Those folks are doing 250. They know what they're doing. They're trained. So when Alexander went to his generals after conquering Greece and said, hey guys, let's go after Egypt, how do you think they responded? I'm sure it was pretty much a, yes, sire, here is a jug of wine. When can we start? Let's go. And after Egypt, it was Babylon, Persia, Syria, Judea, Mesopotamia, India. The more he conquered, the more support he was given. The larger his team was, the more his generals helped him. His reputation and wealth grew, and soldiers came to him. Bankers came to him. You see, it's the same in real estate. We have lead investors that are doing double-digit deals. The lenders know them personally. The lenders will actually call some of our lead investors and say, hey, here's a deal that we found. It's not even on the market, but you're perfect for this. This suits you. And by the way, it's close to one of your other properties. So as they grow, their reputation grows. They're utilizing other people's knowledge, other people's time, other people's money. So what is milestone number 7? That's average $1 million per month, my friends. And do I know people that are doing it? You're darn right I do. Lifestyles Unlimited members, lead investors, they've made it. So I want you to ask yourself today, what is your path of wealth progression? And we care about wealth. Why? So we can concentrate on what matters. Peace, love, joy, health, wealth, and happiness. That's why we say it's not the money, it's the lifestyle. My name's Mike Harrison. Make it a great day.
The Lifestyles Unlimited Real Estate Investor Radio Show is for entertainment purposes only. Please consult a professional regarding your personal investment needs. Nothing presented on the Lifestyles Unlimited Real Estate Investor Radio Show constitutes an endorsement, recommendation, offer, or solicitation to buy or sell any product or security.